Love is rarely lost overnight. It does not simply vanish in a single moment, nor does it end with a grand declaration. Instead, love fades in small, seemingly insignificant ways through shifts in behavior, subtle changes in effort, and quiet withdrawals that often go unnoticed until the damage is already done. Before someone ever finds the courage to say, I don't love you anymore, they first begin to show it in their actions. It starts with the way they used to look at you, the way their eyes once lit up when you walked into the room, the way their face softened when you spoke. Slowly, that gaze shifts. It becomes less engaged, less present, less full of admiration. They no longer look at you like you are someone they cherish. Instead, they glance at you as if you are just another part of their routine. It continues in the way they communicate. At first, they couldn't wait to hear about your day. They asked questions, listened intently, and responded with care. But now the conversations feel surface level. The deep talks that once kept you both awake late into the night are replaced with empty small talk or silence. They seem distracted, uninterested, or too preoccupied with everything else except you. Then you notice the absence of effort. When love is strong, effort is effortless. They find ways to show you they care through sweet gestures, kind words, and thoughtful actions. They make plans to see you. They check in just to say, I miss you. They make you feel valued without being asked. But when love begins to fade, effort becomes inconsistent, then non existent. They used to remember the little things, your favorite coffee order, the song that makes you smile, the stories you told them about your childhood. Now they forget. They no longer take the time to know you the way they once did, as if their heart is slowly detaching from the details of your life. Time together starts to feel different too. What once felt like quality time now feels like an obligation. You sense them pulling away emotionally at first, then physically. They cancel plans more often. They stop prioritizing moments with you. And when they are with you, their presence feels distant. The laughter that once came so naturally now feels forced. The warmth in their touch starts to disappear. And then there are the unspoken signs, the ones that tell you something has shifted even when no words are said. The random texts throughout the day just to check in, they stop. The good morning and good night messages that once made you feel special, they fade. The way they used to notice when you were feeling off and immediately ask, what's wrong? Now they don't even seem to see it. It's important to understand that love is active. It is not just a feeling, it is an ongoing choice. It is expressed through action, through intention, through consistency. So when someone's actions begin to change, when the things they once did so freely now feel like a chore, when the small acts of love start disappearing one by one, that is when love is fading. Sometimes this shift is gradual. It starts so slowly that you don't even recognize it at first. You might make excuses for it, telling yourself that they're just stressed, just busy, just going through a phase, but deep down, you feel it. You know that something isn't the same, and the more time passes, the more obvious it becomes. But here's where many people get stuck. They hold on to what used to be. They cling to the memories of when love was strong, hoping that if they just try harder, if they just remind the other person of what they once had, things will go back to the way they were. But love does not return simply because you want it to. When love fades in actions, it is a sign that something deeper has shifted. It does not always mean the other person has stopped caring completely, but it does mean that something within them is no longer choosing to show love the way they once did. And if they do not recognize this change or have the desire to fix it, no amount of pleading, convincing, or waiting will bring back what has already started to slip away. That is why paying attention to actions is crucial. Many people wait for words. They wait for the other person to finally say, I don't love you anymore before they believe it. But by the time those words are spoken, love has already been absent for a long time. The real proof of love or lack of it is always in what a person does. When love is present, it pursues, it nurtures, it makes it effort. When love fades, it withdraws, it distances, it stops showing up. And that is why, if you ever feel love fading in actions before words, you must pay attention. Because the moment you start making excuses for someone's lack of effort, lack of presence, and lack of care, you are ignoring the truth that is already revealing itself. Before love is completely lost, before someone walks away physically or declares that they no longer care, there is always an emotional departure. Emotional distance comes first. It is silent, subtle, and gradual, does not arrive with a dramatic confrontation or an obvious declaration. It sneaks in little by little until one day you realize that the person you once felt so close to now feels like a stranger. At first, the shift is so small that it is easy to miss. Maybe they still show up, still sit next to you, still say the right words, but something feels different. The warmth in their voice has faded. The depth in their conversations has become shallow. The openness they once had has been replaced with vague, surface level responses. They are present, but they are not connected. Emotional distance is not about physical separation, it is about disconnection. A person can be in the same room as you and still feel miles away. They can answer your texts, pick up your calls, and go through the motions of a relationship while their heart is no longer fully in it. It is a gradual closing off, a slow withdrawal of the emotions that once made your connection feel strong, safe, and unshakable. One of the first signs of emotional distance is a lack of vulnerability. In the beginning, they shared everything with you, their fears, their dreams, their frustrations. You were their safe place, the person they turned to when they needed comfort or clarity. But now they keep things to themselves. When you ask how they're feeling, their answers are brief. They tell you they're fine, even when you can sense that something is off. The deep conversations that once kept you both connected now feel forced or non existent. And then there's the way they respond to your vulnerability. Where they once leaned in when you shared your heart, now they seem distant, uninterested, or distracted. They no longer ask follow up questions or try to understand what you're going through. Instead of offering comfort, they give dismissive responses. Instead of engaging, they nod absent-mindedly or change the subject. It feels as if your emotions are suddenly too much for them to handle, like they are pulling away, not just physically, but emotionally and mentally as well. You begin to notice that they no longer celebrate your joys the way they used to. When you had good news before, they would light up with excitement for you. Now their reaction feels muted, as if they are just going through the motions. Likewise, when you are struggling, they seem indifferent. The person who once reassured you, who once held you through your hardest moments, now feels distant, almost detached. It is as if they are present but uninterested, available but uninvolved. The energy between you shifts in ways that are hard to explain. You used to feel like teammates, like partners in something bigger than just a relationship. You felt chosen, wanted, valued. Now you feel tolerated. Where there was once enthusiasm, there is now indifference. Where there was once eagerness to spend time together, there is now obligation. Another sign of emotional distance is the disappearance of small acts of love. Love is not just in grand gestures, it is in the everyday moments of care and connection. The way they used to reach for your hand without thinking, the way they used to text you in the middle of the day just to check in, and the way they used to notice when you were having a bad day and do something small to make you feel better. These moments don't stop suddenly, they fade. One day you realize that the little things that made you feel loved are no longer happening. What makes emotional distance so painful is that it is often unspoken. Unlike a breakup where there is a clear conversation and closure, emotional distance is a slow erosion of connection. There is no single moment where you can point and say, that's when it changed. Instead, it happens in a series of small, unnoticeable shifts that only become obvious once the distance feels too great to ignore. Many people in relationships sense this distance but refuse to acknowledge it. They tell themselves it's just a phase, that things will go back to normal. They try harder, initiate more conversations, plan more time together, do everything they can to fix what feels broken. But emotional distance is not something that can be fixed with effort alone. It requires both people to be willing to reconnect, to choose closeness, to recognize what is slipping away and actively fight for it. But here's the hard truth. When someone has emotionally checked out, no amount of forcing the connection will bring them back. Love cannot be begged for, affection cannot be demanded. If a person has made the decision, whether consciously or subconsciously, to detach from you, they will continue to drift further away no matter how much you try to hold on. That is why emotional distance is so painful. It is the in between, the space where love is fading but not yet gone, where a relationship exists in name but no longer in depth. And the worst part is, it often happens long before the final goodbye. The words, I don't love you anymore, or I don't want to do this anymore, may not come for weeks, months, or even years after emotional distance has already set in. So if you sense it, if you feel that something is off, that the connection is not what it used to be, don't ignore it. Don't convince yourself that as long as they're still physically present, the love is still there. Because the truth is, love does not disappear in an instant, it fades in distance first. Love at its core is built on admiration. It is not just about romance or attraction, it is about respect, about seeing someone for who they truly are and holding them in high. When someone loves you, they admire your qualities, appreciate your strengths, and honor your presence in their life. But when love begins to fade, when the foundation of a relationship starts to crack, disrespect often replaces admiration. At first, the shift is subtle. The compliments that once made you feel seen and valued become rare or stop altogether. Where they once praised your intelligence, your kindness, or your ambition, now they seem indifferent or worse, critical. The things that once made them proud of you now seem to annoy them. Instead of celebrating your achievements, they dismiss them. Instead of encouraging your dreams, they belittle them. What was once admiration turns into irritation. Disrespect doesn't always arrive with loud arguments or blatant insults. Often it starts in small, almost unnoticeable ways. It's in the sarcastic tone when they speak to you, the way they roll their eyes when you share an opinion, the way they interrupt you mid sentence as if what you have to say doesn't really matter. It's in the way they no longer listen when you speak, how they seem disengaged or uninterested when you try to connect with them. And then there are the passive aggressive remarks, the subtle digs disguised as jokes, the comments that make you question yourself. Maybe they used to admire your passion, but now they mock you for being too much. Maybe they once loved how driven you were, but now they say you care too much about work. The very things that once drew them to you now seem to irritate them. This is because when admiration is gone, resentment often takes its place. A person who once saw you through the lens of love now starts to see you through the lens of frustration. Instead of recognizing your strengths, they magnify your flaws. Instead of focusing on what they love about you, they start picking apart everything they don't. And one of the clearest signs of shifting admiration is how they handle conflict. In the beginning, when love and respect were present, disagreements were handled with care. Even if you had different perspectives, there was a willingness to understand, to find common ground. But when disrespect replaces admiration, conflict becomes mean spirited. They no longer argue to resolve, they argue to win. Their words become sharper, their tone more condescending. They no longer see you as a partner, but as someone they need to prove wrong. You also start to notice how they treat you in front of others. When admiration was strong, they spoke highly of you, defended you, and supported you even when you weren't around. But now their words about you in public feel different. Maybe they make jokes at your expense, speaking about you in ways that feel dismissive or degrading. Maybe they correct you in front of others as if they need to prove that they know better. Then maybe they no longer protect your name when others speak negatively about you. Disrespect also shows up in how they handle your emotions. When admiration is present, there's a level of care when you are hurt. They listen, they try to understand, they take your feelings into consideration. But when admiration fades, so does their patience for your emotions. Instead of comforting you, they tell you you're too sensitive. Instead of apologizing when they hurt you, they blame you for overreacting. Your feelings are no longer met with empathy, but with defensiveness or indifference. And then there's the withdrawal of effort. When admiration exists, effort comes naturally. They want to show up for you to make you feel valued. But when admiration is replaced with disrespect, effort feels forced, almost reluctant. They do the bare minimum to keep the relationship going, but there's no real desire to pour into it. They stop showing appreciation, stop making you feel special, stop treating you like someone they truly cherish. One of the most painful realizations is when you notice that their respect for you has diminished. They no longer prioritize your time. They disregard your boundaries. They make decisions without considering you. They start doing things they know hurt you, but instead of changing, they justify their actions. But here's the truth: love cannot thrive where there is no respect. A relationship where admiration has been replaced with criticism, where kindness has been replaced with mockery, where appreciation has been replaced with irritation, is not a relationship built to last. If you ever feel that shift happening, if you notice the way they once admired you turning into the way they now dismiss you, don't ignore it, because once respect is lost, love is not far behind. Love and commitment are built on consistency. It's not just about grand gestures or occasional moments of passion. It's about showing up day after day with effort, care, and reliability. Consistency is what makes a relationship feel safe, what allows trust to grow, what reassures you that the love you're experiencing is real and enduring. But when love starts to fade, when someone is beginning to check out emotionally, consistency is the first thing to break. At first, the changes are small. The good morning and good night texts that were once automatic start to become sporadic. The daily check-ins, the little messages throughout the day just to say I'm thinking of you, start to disappear. You tell yourself they're just busy, that life is getting in the way, that it's not a big deal, but deep down, You feel something is shifting. The plans that used to be made with excitement and certainty now feel uncertain. Where they once planned ahead and made an effort to see you, now they cancel more often, reschedule without urgency, or stop making plans altogether. You begin to notice that spending time together no longer feels like a priority for them, it feels like an afterthought. And then there's the inconsistency in their words versus their actions. They may still say, I love you, still claim they care, but their behavior no longer matches their words. They promise to call, but forget. They say they want to see you, but never make the effort. The person who once followed through on their commitments now offers excuses instead. One of the hardest parts of witnessing consistency break is the emotional roller coaster it creates. Some days they're present, affectionate, and engaged just like they used to be, but then without warning, they withdraw. They go from warm to distant, from responsive to unavailable. You never know what version of them you're going to get, and that uncertainty begins to take a toll. Where love once felt steady, now it feels unpredictable. You find yourself wondering if they're going to show up for you today, or if they're going to be the person who makes you feel safe, or the person who makes you question everything. Inconsistency breeds insecurity. It makes you doubt yourself, your worth, and your place in their life. And the truth is, when someone truly cares, consistency is natural. Love is not just about feelings, it's about showing up day after day, even when life is busy, even when challenges arise. When love is real, effort does not fade, presence does not become optional. Prioritizing the other person does not feel like a chore. But when love starts to wane, when someone's heart is no longer fully in it, their consistency begins to break. They may not even realize they're doing it at first. They may still believe they love you, still hold on to the idea of the relationship, but the effort, the intentionality, the follow through, it all starts slipping away. And the most painful part, you feel it happening before they ever say a word. You sense the distance growing. You notice the missed calls, the lack of engagement, the way they no longer make an effort to make you feel special. It's not that they've necessarily stopped loving you altogether, it's that they've stopped choosing to show that love in the ways they once did.